The Owl House blindsided fans across the globe with the final moments of its second season as we watched the central antagonist, Emperor Belos, get absolutely folded by the Collector. Shortly after the Collector was released from his prison, thanks to the help of one King Clawthorn. Collector wasted no time settling the score with the Emperor by flattening him like a pancake, reducing dear old Philip to nothing but a pile of goop. Some multiverse of madness type shenanigans. But not only did the Emperor survive this Six Flags simulation in the form of a Mutt cosplay, latching onto Hunter as the Hexside squad gets sent to Earth, he's also not letting go of his title as the show's big bad just yet. While we uploaded a pretty fleshed out theory built around Season 3's first special, thanks to them, a theory of which I'm still proud of, we have new information to work with in the form of the Season 3 poster and Dana Terrace's promo art for the New York Comic Con 2022 panel. So naturally, my mind's been running rampant with speculation and new theories of how this confrontation in Gracefield will go down. Will Belos be able to restore his physical form? Are one of our Palismen friends in grave danger? Will Gus ever get a new haircut? Give him locks! All of this and more today on Owl Theory. That was a joke. Matt Pat, don't sue. But let the record show, I was making in-depth food analysis content first. Did I mention we have dope Owl House inspired merch over at Toon Drip? Check it out. Link in the description. So the details in the new poster and promo art for Season 3 directly contradict my predictions in the Escape to the Demon Realm video. We have confirmation of the presence of Palismen on Earth, Emperor Belos lurking in the shadows, regenerating into his monstrous envy-like state, and Luce still being in possession of her unhatched Palismen egg. These are all interesting because these are things that, at the end of King's Tide, were left in a state of ambiguity. The kids arrived at the Skull of the Titan with their Palismen, but those companions were nowhere to be found after the gang's sudden retreat. And considering at the start of the episode we saw those Palismen interact with one another, all cuddled up on the ship, I guess I just would have expected them to be included in this moment of defeat instead of vanishing out of nowhere. Especially since a few moments before, we had the whole Caleb moment, but it is what it is. Palismen have been shown to manifest out of thin air like keyblades. It's just how the world works. A reason I suspected they'd be separated from their Palismen is actually because of the Collector's game. Depending on how much the show team leans into the idea of a board game or a video game brought to life, which they may not even do, I was thinking their Palismen could resurface as collectibles in the game. Upgrades they obtain as they progress through whatever the Collector has done to the Boiling Isles. It would have been a fun idea, but now that we know the state Belos will be in, I completely get why the story calls for the Palismen to be on Earth. When it comes to Emperor Belos, I'm actually surprised he's evidently going to return to his monster mode, given that the kids could barely hold their own against him in that state. But I guess they were being held back a bit by the draining spell. It's just a bold writing decision, but it does look like he's going to regenerate over time, given that this special will see them flash forward at least a few months, given the new hairdos. Last but not least, there's Luce's Palismen egg, something that actually surprised me, given that the last time we saw this egg, Luce was with Ida and King. Plus, I assume she would have wanted the egg as far from harm as possible, so the egg would have been kept safe in the cat's hideout. And just like the other Palismen, I was thinking it could have become a collectible in the Collector's game. Instead, it was just in Luce's backpack the whole time, which checks out. I'm just surprised it didn't get cracked at all during her showdown with Belos, especially since she was getting tossed around and almost got petrified with her backpack on, but it's a magic egg. They ain't gotta explain jack. With all of this in mind, here's where I now think they're going with the first special. Going off the synopsis of the press release, we are going to pick up immediately after the events of King's Tide. But like, the poster don't lie, bro. So it'll likely just be a quick scene of Luce introducing her friends to her mom and giving her exposition so Camilla and the audience can be up to speed. And after this, we'll have our time skip where a few months or so has passed and the gang is still stranded on Earth. But they haven't just been twiddling their fingers all of this time. I absolutely believe Luce and the squad will spend a great deal of this time skip doing their best to build a brand new portal back to the Demon Realm with Earth's resources. Luce has experience building a portal, complete with foreshadowing for this one.
With everything we've learned, we'll have a real working portal in no time.
And I'm assuming they'll have allies in the form of these friends. Maybe they'll help smuggle resources from Luce's school, stuff like science lab equipment and anything they can get their hands on from engineering. Although, now that I'm writing this, I can't help but also question where their base of operations will be. Could it actually be at Luce's school, masquerading as an after-school club? Will the Hexside gang enroll at Luce's school as foreign exchange students? That'd be fun. That sounds like something that could have been half of a regular season. Thanks, Disney. Is their base just gonna be at Camilla's house? Is she cool with having teenagers build a dangerous and experimental portal in her basement that probably breaks a few laws? Is it gonna be the abandoned old house that's definitely the Wittebane house? I actually think this house is going to be Belos' hideout, so maybe not. Now you're probably thinking, the missing piece to this portal is of course Titan's blood. But considering Luce tore off a single finger of Amity's blood glove to power her first portal, I think it's safe to say that the rest of the glove is in her backpack with enough Titan's blood remaining to fuel the new portal. Now, for the sake of stakes, it's possible that they've gone through the other 4 fingers of the glove in any experiment they conduct over the time skip. They could also do a whole, oh my gosh, there's only enough Titan's blood left for one trip. We have to nail this one. And it's also possible that during this first special, Luce uses one of the glove's fingers to test out the portal, and instead of going back to the Boiling Isles, she ends up in the in-between realm again, leading to both her and the audience getting a peek at what the Collector has done to the Boiling Isles. Meanwhile, we also have Emperor Belos, aka Philly Phil. And to be frank, he's gonna be preying on our hero's downfall. In my last theory around this special, I had a big focus on the idea that resident Discord mod Jacob Hopkins would turn out to be a relative of Belos. He's a modern-day witch hunter. He shares some physical attributes of both Philip and Caleb. His hair is brown but is styled similarly to Caleb and Hunter's, just a lot shorter. He has blue eyes like Philip. He has access to the abandoned house that, again, is more than likely the old Wittebane household, if you just think about it for a second. And I don't think this connection is gonna go unacknowledged. While things aren't shaping up for Belos to possess him, I still believe Jacob will have a large role in this special, and I still believe Belos is going to greatly manipulate him. I doubt Camilla kept Jacob locked up for all this time. I mean, even if she never came back, which is kinda dark, maybe someone else found him and set him free. Maybe he broke himself out. Either way, he's going to be around. He has hidden cameras in the abandoned house, which may be how he learns Belos is hiding out there. He'll learn who Belos is and aid him in his recovery. Basically, just act as his henchman, his right-hand man, what Kiki Mora aspired to be. Chances are, once Belos does regenerate, he'll be stripped of his humanity and trapped in this monstrous form, with the only way to set him free and reclaim his human form being the consumption of Palismen souls. This actually feels like a given when you apply this context to Dana Terrace's New York Comic Con promo. Luce in her Earth attire, protecting her Palismen egg. She knows he needs Palismen to return to normal, and she's not going to let that happen by any means. Tragically, I do think at least one Palismen isn't going to make it back to the Boiling Isles. And if any of them had enough death flags to warrant funeral arrangements, it's Flapjack. We already have been shown through a depiction of Philip and Caleb, Flapjack seemingly belonged to Caleb, which is why Flapjack gravitated towards Hunter, told Hunter that his undercover name at Hexside should be Caleb, and why Belos had such a violent reaction to seeing the Palismen. Now that Belos is aware that Flapjack is still around, and thus, a piece of his witch-loving brother remains, the piece that he can't control, I'm sure he's going to set his sights on the Red Cardinal, even if he ultimately settled for any of the Palismen. But since Luce is the main character, I think they'd ultimately center this conflict around her Palismen. I mean, can't you picture it? Some big lore reveal along the lines of unhatched Palismen eggs having the most potent magic in them. So if Belos eats that one, he's going to bounce back stronger than ever. This would also pave the way for Flapjack's death to be a subversion rather than something the show makes super obvious. Maybe Belos will be on the verge of obtaining the egg, and at the last second, Flapjack sacrifices himself and gets consumed by Belos in order to ensure Luce's Palismen hatches and lives a full life. I hate to say it, but if any character is going to be killed off on Earth, Flapjack does make the most sense. We hate seeing beloved animal characters kick the bucket in shows and movies. There's a precedent of Palismen already being brutally cracked in half as their soul gets eaten by Belos. By S&P standards, they can get away with it because even though Flapjack is a bird, he's also made of magic wood. This would also, sadly, complete his role in Hunter's arc, being introduced as, essentially, Hunter's very first friend. A real friend. someone to help Hunter come out of his shell while also helping him slowly recognize and fight back against Belos' manipulation, since Hunter had to keep him a secret. But since then, Hunter has formed genuine friendships with Luz, Willow, and Gus, and I think after the time skip, he'll have a solid friendship with Amity. He now has a much healthier father figure in his life with Darius, but there's still a tiny piece of him holding on to Belos, unable to accept how horrible his uncle truly is. A part of Hunter who still loves Belos, just like how Caleb loved Philip. And the only way to get rid of that piece of Hunter, that piece of Caleb, is for Hunter's heart to be broken. Broken by the heart-wrenching sight of Belos taking out Hunter's very first friend. A loss that would enable Belos to return to his human form, which I'm sure will be followed by him thanking Hunter for his contribution, cause Belos be a dick. A loss that would enrage Hunter as he vows to settle the score by putting an end to Philip Wittebane. If he doesn't just straight up murk him then and there. But I have a feeling Belos is actually going to survive longer than we think. So yeah, they're going to make a working portal back to the Boiling Isles, and the Disney trend of portals being a major plot point in every story-driven cartoon continues. Belos is gonna be all scary, and it's gonna be all Halloween-y. I'd actually love if this special was set around Halloween time. Add to the irony of Belos being a witch hunter despite losing his humanity, when he sees that the place he knows and loves has kind of normalized witches and made them a part of the culture when it comes to Halloween costumes and fashion. But hey, I guess we'll find out within a month. But as always, I want to know what you guys think. Do you think a Palismen's gonna kick the bucket? Who will it be? Let us know in the comments down below. And keep the conversation going by following us on Twitter and Instagram at OstricVox and at Roundtable Vids. Again, be sure to check out Toon Drip for some dope cartoon merch. And if you enjoyed this video, please drop a like and subscribe to the Roundtable for more great Owl House content. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day. Peace!